Hello, welcome back. We're starting our second season. Yay, right? Okay, well, welcome back to another Contemplative Living. We tried to bring you some short, quiet moments to reflect on what's important in life. So sit back and enjoy this short little moment of contemplation. And since we're starting a new season, we thought it would be nice to talk about adjusting to new energies. And Spirit once said to me, see yourself growing with adaptability. Adaptability until it encompasses you entirely, so that every activity is in your comfort zone. A lot of times in life we find ourselves facing some new energies. It just feels different. And so that's what we're going to talk about, adjusting to new energies. So let's get to it.
Welcome. Now creating a life of peace. This is Contemplative Living with David Bennett. Contemplations and reflections to help with spiritual living. This podcast is made possible by dharmatalks.com.
All right, so like I said, sometimes we find ourselves just and it just feels different. Feels like we're experiencing something new. Well, when I was young and I was living in Arizona, the grandmothers told me that they taught me about cycles and how every year we come into a new cycle, and that when it first introduces itself, it may feel out of sorts. But once we adapt to it, then we begin to flow with the new energy. And these cycles, now they can happen at a new year, or many times they happen around your birth date. But for me, I noticed that they come around the fall. In the fall of the year is when I feel a shift, that there's a new cycle of energy that I'm about to, find myself in. And so I have to, spend some time and learn about the new energy. So I want to step out with an open mind and remain positive while I explore this new energy, this new frequency, this new vibration that I find myself in. And we all experience this. And if we take a little bit of time, a little bit of introspection, and look at how, our life has panned out, and we look historically back, we can see when this cycle happens. It's pretty much on an annual basis. So every year we come into a new energy, a new vibration. And whether it happens on your birthday, maybe you experience it at the new year, or maybe at another time. One of the keys that I found to recognizing is that, like, when it first comes in, it feels a little, we're not used to it. We're not adjusted to it. And so it feels a little chaotic sometimes, the chaos. So look for those moments in your life when there was a lot of chaos, and look at, what time of the year did that happen? When did that happen? When did you feel that change, that shift? So sharpen up the old senses and drop into deeper levels of ourselves. These words hold kind of a mysterious allure, that beckons us to embark on an intrepid journey within. And as we navigate through life, it's easy to succumb to the monotony of routine. We lose touch with our innate intuition and our wisdom. But what if, by sharpening our senses, we could plunge into profound depths that were previously unexplored? In this world, we find that it's brimming with distraction and noise. And adjusting to new energies demand that we open ourselves up. We need to open ourselves up to endless possibilities. And it requires us not only to rely on the five senses, but also to tap into those frequencies and those whispered voices, those whispered forces that are unseen. And by honing our vision, perhaps we unveil the truths that are obscured and part of that, illusion of separateness. And by heightening our hearing, maybe we can catch the echoes from, those ancient voices that are trying to guide us and give us some opportunities for change. Now, change is inevitable. We all know that. We all know that all is flux. Everything is in flux. I once had a friend, and he was, he had just come through a really rough patch. And so I asked him, how's it going? How's it going? And he said, Dave, it's tough because I have to keep my defenses up. And I was like, whoa, that's not the way to live, We need to let go of that. Because when we live in that state of fear, when we live in that state of we need to be, have our shields up, that we're not experiencing everything. And he'd already gotten past the rough patch. There was no need for the defenses anymore. He should be enjoying the moment that he's in and adjusting himself to the new energies of where he found himself. But we don't always do that. But life is always in flux. It's always in, and a lot of times we hold ourselves back. We put up our shields because we know change is coming. It's always coming. And we're afraid to walk into it with being open. But when we are living in our true nature and we're embraced by that oneness that is connected to all of us, when we approach life from that level of awareness, that's when we don't need to be so fearful because nothing can touch us when we are in that place. Yes, life around us can be in total chaos and life can be demanding, but with clarity, we can see our way forward. But when we have the shields, we can't see clearly. And so that's what we want to do to maintain, that sense of clarity, even though we're in a world of change. So I can accept the inevitability. I love that word, inevitability of change. I can accept that. I can accept it. Change is going to come, but I'm going to face it with clarity. I'm going to face it with my heart-centered intentions intact. I'm going to work on my ideals, and I'm going to work on who I am to be a better person. And that way, when change comes, I'm fortified in myself without the need of shields, so that I can be clear. Now, nostalgia. Oh, love that word, nostalgia. Nostalgia is wistful affection for the past, but it's a coy mistress. And like a coy mistress, nostalgia entices us with seductive allure, whispering promises of simple times and familiar faces. It invites us to escape the present and immerse ourselves in wistful reverie. We find solace in reminiscing about days gone by, about dreams once dreamt, laughter shared, and the sun-kissed adventures that shaped who we are today. Yeah, but amidst this dance with our nostalgic muse lies an undeniable truth. She's but just an illusionary temptress. And she's lingering on the periphery of reality. And just as her embrace warms our hearts momentarily, she also binds us to the transformative, she just holds us in that state. And so we're blind to anything that's awaiting us. So our attachment to bygone eras may hinder our growth. And if we fail to acknowledge that life's most beautiful chapters unfold not behind us, but ahead of us, we want to be looking forward. So let nostalgia be both a guide and a cautionary tale on our journey toward embracing new energies. So I can transition and I can embrace new energies, new vibrations. It's not hard to do. What we need is just a moment, a few moments. When we feel that chaos, when we don't feel like we're really in a place where we should be. And we try so hard sometimes to just maintain the old vibration. But when we recognize that we can transition and we can move forward and we can embrace the new vibration, then things smooth out. That's when we begin to flow. We flow with life. And that's where we want to be. Hey, Amanda, I'm glad you're here with us. Now, don't look back, because a new day is always dawning. It's always dawning. Change will find us. Change is that gentle breeze whispering through the trees. And when those winds shift, many times they're carrying that unfamiliar energy, uncharted paths. And our natural inclination may be to cast longing glances over our shoulder, right? At what was left, what we left behind. But here's an invitation. Resist that temptation. Embrace the new dawn of this new day instead. It's in these moments of transition lie endless possibilities waiting for us to unfold before us. It's in these shifting tides that we have an opportunity to rediscover ourselves. When the tide comes in, don't be afraid to step there and wiggle your toes in that water and redefine who you are and what truly matters. The world around us is constantly evolving. It's ebbing and flowing, kind of a symphony in motion. And just like nature adapts to, changing seasons, or how rivers will mold their path through valleys and mountains, we must learn to adjust accordingly as well. So that's what we want to do. We want to adapt ourselves to the new vibration, because when we don't, it's like swimming upstream. We're fighting the current, and we're going to tire, and we're going to drown if we don't learn how to adapt and to flow. Go with that flow, and then look for opportunities. If you find yourself in a place that you really, really don't want to be, then learn what the flow consists of, and then look for those exits. Look for those opportunities that we all have to change where we are, and but to change in an empowered, heart-centered way. I hope you've enjoyed this mindful moment, this contemplative living, and that if you find yourself so moved, in the description below, you can subscribe, or if you feel so moved, you could make a donation to help us keep the podcast going. But thank you for coming and starting this new season of contemplative living. And I hope you have a blessed week. Namaste.
Thank you for listening today to Contemplative Living with David Bennett. Please be sure to subscribe, listen, and share with your friends wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the Podbean app. You can find the links to these on David's website, dharmatalks.com, on the Contemplative Living page. Have a blessed week.